Hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome. I am your host, Dr. Denise Simpson. I am just checking here with my iPad, my nifty iPad. I just want to make sure I am live in here and I've got my controls set up here. Yeah, because I'm a one-woman show, everyone. So this is what happens when you are a one-woman show. It looks like there is a delay on my end. Okay, no, there I am. Okay, good. So, hi, welcome. It is Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is where conscientious leaders gather so we can talk about mindset, skill set, and the actions that leaders take. And so today's topic is on habits because it's important to know what habits are driving your behaviors or your decision making. But before we do that, as always, we like to celebrate you guys. So will you share your wins in the comments below? We want to hear from you. And Anne is here. Hi, Anne. Talk about a leader. Anne is an amazing leader. She leads our members over in the Align 365 group. Yes, Anne does. We follow her lead. So we're so happy she's here. And if you're watching the replay, will you please share your wins with us? We do this at the top of our shows because as intentional, conscientious individuals, we like to celebrate one another. And so make sure you share your win with us because we want to hear from you. So glad you all are going to join me today. I'm hoping, I'm hoping all the graphics work today because I've been messing with our graphics. Because you all know I'm a one-woman show around here, right? Like this is just me, myself, and I, and on my Mac laptop, and my iPad here. So this is what I get to do all by myself. So again, this is Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Austin. In Texas, we are on spring break. This week and next week, universities and school districts will be closed. So if you're not in Texas, share with me. Are you at work? What are you doing today? How is your day going? How is the office space going? And it's been a week. When I don't need bail money. Yay. But spring break is not, you're not in spring break yet, Anne. So you may need some bail money, when spring break comes around for you. Because I believe yours is at the end of the month, right? So anyways, I was saying we are gathering here no matter whether we're on spring break or not. Something I will share with you, the next 4 Thursdays, I will have a recording for you. So I won't be here live, but Facebook will allow me to premiere my show at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, whether I'm live or not. Today we're live, but again, the next 4 Thursdays, you will have a video just like this, something I'm going to record and I'm going to upload it so that you guys can watch at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope that works out for you guys. I won't be physically in Texas, so I will have to do my best to get some content out for you, and that is my intention, is to make sure I have something for you every Thursday for the next 4 Thursdays. But I will be managing social media. I'll be able to pop in and out, and I'll be able to answer any questions. Of course, email I will have. So if you are on my email subscription list, that's a really great way to get a hold of me. So let's start with today's topic, shall we? So today we're talking about habits of conscientious leaders. So why is this important? Because 40% of our daily actions are driven by our habits. That's 40% of our day. So I came up with this quote. It's on your screen. It reads, either you run your life or your habits run you. Which do you choose? And so if we're talking about intentional, conscientious leaders, well, we're deliberate creators, aren't we? We manage our habits, we manage our behaviors, we manage our emotions. And so today we're talking about habits and why this is important. So let me move my little graphic out of the way. I hope you guys like that. Again, I'm a one-woman show and I'm very proud of it because, we gotta do a weekly show, and I have to do it by myself. All is good. So let's talk about habits. So what is a habit? It's a ritual, it's a behavior that is done at an unconscious level. And the reason why this happens is because our brain needs to free up space for us to really tackle some of the more complex problem solving skills. And so these unconscious habits are formed in our brains through neurological pathways. And so this is why it's hard to break a habit, because we have built and embossed this pathway in our brains. And so habits are, unconscious. They can be good habits. They can be bad habits. Listen, if you know what a bad habit is, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you what to do or what not to do, but we need to bring awareness to your habits today. And so we need to look at what habits are impeding your success. And if they're bad habits, because you define them as bad, then we need to do something about that. So again, habits are rituals or behaviors that are done at an unconscious level, like brushing your teeth, driving a car even, making coffee in the morning, taking a shower. These are things that are embossed in your brain. So how many of you roll over in the morning and grab your phone to look at your emails or social media? And this happens every day without fail. So you're in bed, you've got the phone propped up, you're probably, going through social media the first 10 minutes of you awake. And then you get out of bed, and then you go and do all of your habits, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, getting dressed, driving to work, and then even habits at work that you have. So again, 40% of your actions are driven by these habits. And so that's why it's important as intentional, conscientious leaders or individuals, we need to know what habits are running our lives. So again, they are formed through neurological pathways, and this happens because of repetition. So, here we are embossing these pathways in our brain. So the number one question is, well, how do I change these bad habits? The habits that I've identified that are not serving my purpose or serving my success. Well, like I said, you have to come to awareness, right? You have to bring awareness to which habits you need to change or modify. What good habits do you have? Let's even address those. If you're watching, share with me something that you've identified that you need to change. Because what got you to this level of success will not get you to the next level of success. And so what we have to do as intentional, conscientious individuals and leaders, we have to constantly bring awareness to our behaviors and to our triggers and our emotional triggers. This is part of developing your leadership skills. We have to look at what habits are impeding our success. What habits must you change to be a successful parent, to be a successful leader, to be a change agent in your community or your institution? So let's pinpoint which ones you need to modify. So that's number one. That's how you're going to change your bad habits. Number one, bring awareness to the habits that you want to modify that are no longer serving you. Number two, we're going to directly replace those habits with new ones. So it's not like the neurological pathway is erased. It's not. They're grooved in the brain. And so the only way then to change a bad habit is to then start with tiny action steps to then emboss a new neurological pathway. So it's not like you're eliminating the old one, but you do have to be conscious and intentional in creating the new neural pathway so that you can change this bad habit. And so if you are interested in more of how to do that, James Clear, the New York Times bestselling author, has a book called Atomic Habits. I think this should be on every leader's shelf. He marries science with some practical steps, and so you get a lot of really great takeaways in his book. And he shares a lot of his experience on how he changed habits, and it started with small, tiny, bite-sized action steps that then grew into full habits. But here's what he says. again, a habit is not, you emboss it in your neural pathway. It's there when we know it's there, but you do have to be conscious, and you do have to continue with that good action, with that good habit. So it's a lifestyle change, and it is forever and ever. So something that I had to do was really incorporate more exercise in my life. I'm not athletic by any means. And I know my leader friend, Anne, who's live right now, is certainly an athlete. I am not. I actually lacked discipline and was just never interested in pushing my body to those limits. And so now in my 40s, I've had to adapt and adopt a new way of living. And so now I'm pushing myself like I've never pushed myself in my entire life. It's kind of crazy how this, throughout my first 4 decades on this earth, I, ate whatever I wanted, did whatever I wanted, didn't take good care of my body. But now, because I want to be here for the next 40 years, I've had to really adjust my mindset on exercise and eating well. And so that's a habit that I will live with for the rest of my life. This is intentional and it is conscious, and every day is sometimes a struggle for me. So that's something that we need to, as intentional leaders, be conscious of. So Anne, let me quickly read a comment that she wrote here. It is work to get and stay in the habit of working. Yeah, it is work, right? To get there and to stay in that mindset. Yeah. I mean, you got to tie a purpose and an emotion to it that excites you. Something James Clear says about habits, you have to change your mindset from I have to work out to I get to work out. So see how minor that mind shift is from saying I have to now I get to do this. And so I thought that was so brilliant. And that's something that I've honestly have had to do, like I said, with this example of working out. So let's jump into the 5 habits of conscientious leaders. So again, here is my disclaimer. This is not an exhaustive list, right? Because of our time limit, I only get to pick 5. So if these resonate with you, great. If they don't resonate with you, like I tell my students at the university level, stay open-minded, take notes, refer back to this lecture or workshop or however you want to frame what we're doing today. Go back to these notes or even watch the replay of this so that you can, learn what we're talking about. But, if these don't resonate, that's okay. That's what we're doing here. We're here to share, and I'm here to share with you in my experience, and I hope that you get to share with me as well. So let's start with the first one. Conscientious leaders, here's the first habit. They are constant learners, which means they always have something, either a book, either research that they're doing, either an audible book, a podcast, something to kind of spark their curiosity. They're always in the mindset of growth instead of a fixed mindset. These are individuals who are constantly wanting to enrich their mind, enrich their hearts, enrich their souls. So those habits, these are habits that they have. For me in particular, my habit is to take 45 to an hour and a half every morning to either read or listen to an audible book. Right now, I'm actually listening to Seth Godin's Tribe. Wow. And this is an older book, I think, but I'm just now catching up with all the commercial stuff out there on leadership. So I'm devouring everything right now. I feel like it's my time to really enjoy what's out there from these amazing authors. And so for me, it's making sure I set that time. So, if it's Anne, for example, she's driving into work. She's listening to some great podcasts. She's listening to a great audible book. She is enriching her mind because she's curious about what's going on out there. She's curious about, self-improvement, whatever your favorite topic is, gravitate to it, but make it a habit and make sure that these are non-negotiable timeframes. For me, 45 to an hour and a half is non-negotiable. I will not at all sacrifice that time for anything else. This is my time to enrich my mind and enrich my soul, and hopefully help me. I get to take in all this information and help me become a better leader. So again, conscientious leaders are in the growth mindset and are constantly learning. So share with me some of those habits that you all have in regards to this idea here. Number 2, the second habit is conscientious leaders take action even when they are scared. So, I was never a risk taker. I'm very comfortable in my space. I'm very comfortable in my environment. I was never one to join competitive sports. I was never one to join team or group building activities because I didn't want to expose myself to my inefficiencies, and I didn't want to take that risk. And so that's something that I had to get out of throughout my time as a leader, in my tenure as a leader. But conscientious leaders are open-minded to change and evolution and evolving, right? And so conscientious leaders have habits that get them outside of their comfort zone, and they stretch themselves a bit. And that's something that I've had to really incorporate into my habits, is being open to change and risk, and learning from failures. If I do take a risk and I don't do well, and instead of succeeding, I fail, I take it as a learning lesson now. So life is much better as a risk taker, I have to say. So that's number 2. Habit number 3 is conscientious leaders practice humility. And what does humility look like? And by the way, this is one of my fundamental leadership principles that I wrote in my free PDF gift that I have for you all. If you haven't downloaded that, I ask you to do that. A very simple, quick read. It's my 5 leadership fundamentals. There's so many more, but these are actually in alignment with my values. So you download that, read that, and then you'll know exactly who I am. But for me, this one, practicing humility, is very important, and it's a staple in my framework when I coach leaders. Humility is absolutely important to have, to demonstrate, and making it a habit every day, to demonstrate that to your followers, to your peers, to your children, even, and to your community members. And some ways that you can practice humility is by admitting when you are wrong, when you don't have the answer to everything. This is what a humble servant is. Someone who says, I don't know that, and I'll get back to you on that. But if you have a better idea, let's discuss it. And that's what a humble leader looks like. They also give credit to others. A humble leader does not take it all in. This is not about him or her. This is about, your followers. This is about who you're serving, whether it's your children, your community members, your constituents. It's about giving credit where credit is due. So that's another way that you can practice humility as a conscientious leader. And then the last piece of recommendation here, or advice here, is to ask for advice when you're from your peers or your followers. Make sure you create a cohesive culture, a culture of acceptance, a culture of openness. This is what leadership is about. And so this is something that really triggers me, the humility factor. So if you're joining us, we've just went through 3 of the habits of conscientious leaders. We're moving on to the 4th one. And yes, I have notes, everyone, because the last few lives I've gone over to like 30 minutes. So I'm now like laser focused on my notes. The 4th habit is continuous self-awareness. So we talked about that right earlier in regards to the growth mindset of a conscientious leader. Well, we're also constantly tapping in, checking in, learning about our triggers, learning about what habits we need to change, and that's all part of continuous self-awareness. And so here are just a few. Meditation. Before you roll your eyes at me, meditation is super important and is also a non-negotiable for me. And so what meditation does is it recalibrates your mind. It recalibrates those thoughts. so that you can leave what you need to leave behind so that you can carry on through your day intentionally and conscientiously. And so meditation is really important. Take 15 minutes. By the way, there's a ton of great guided meditations out there that you can use. You don't have to do it all on your own. There's some amazing apps out there too. I've been meditating all of my life, all of my adult life, so I can easily go into meditation. And after this, I probably will. And it's just, again, it's like it cleanses your brain palette almost. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it really does recalibrate your mind, your body, and your spirit. And I do that between coaching sessions because I don't want to carry what one client brought into our session and take it into my next session. So I have to energetically cleanse, my mind and my spirit so that I can then be focused and intentional with my next client. So I do that as a habit. Also, if you are so unaware, I hope not, but if you're having problems identifying, those bad habits, again, we're talking about, continuous self-awareness here. This is habit number 4. If you are having problems, coming to terms with some of these negative habits, I want you to ask someone close to you, a partner, a lover, a peer, a leader, a parent, a sibling, ask them what behaviors or actions that they see in you that may be alarming to them or may concern them. And it's you have to be careful with who you ask, right? Because everyone has opinions, and remember, they are viewing you through their best interests and not yours. So keep that in mind too when you go and ask others for their opinions. I always have to remember that. Like with my husband, he's extremely biased. I've talked about he being an enabler, so I have to sometimes go outside and ask someone else within my circle to get a really constructive feedback. So those are 2 ways that you can practice self-awareness. Getting into the mindset of continually tapping into who you are. What are your actions, your behaviors. We talked about values, I guess 2 weeks ago. And so that ties to what we're talking about here with habits. So again, it's continuous self-awareness. And the last habit of a conscientious leader is that their actions are driven by service. That may be surprising to a lot of you, but service is, I think, what every leader should be driven by. On my Instagram post, I posted something yesterday that talked about, people not rising to the level of leadership because of all the pressures that come with the responsibilities of being a great leader, an effective leader. And because you're not reaching your leadership potential, we are at the whim of these narcissistic, self-serving demigods that are out there that are disguising themselves as leaders. And so I'm ready to call out everyone who has no business leading. It's about competency. It's about compassion. It's about being in service to others. And it's time that we change that definition of leadership, the archaic view of leadership. And so that's number 5. Their conscientious leaders have a habit of being in service or of service to others. And so those are the 5 habits that conscientious leaders should have. Again, this is this is not the entire list. This is just a few that I've chosen for us to start this dialogue. Anne is commenting, so I'm going to check in here with her before I let you all go. I would rather be a leader than a sheep. You are so right on the demigods. They are now leaders. I love that. So very, very true. Thank you for confirming that, Anne, because I now placed a stake in the ground. I'm now, and that's the reason why I'm doing this weekly show. This is my life's work, 20 plus years in this field. I've dedicated a great deal of my life to this field, and I don't want to see it destroyed anymore. And I think it's time that we all realize that we do have the potential to be great leaders. But again, a lot of us will not take on this challenge because of the pressure of leadership. And so that's what I want to do, is help you realize that we all can be, and we all have that potential. A lot of you may disagree with me on that stance, but I'm placing the flag in the ground. This is my stance now on leadership. And you'll hear so much more my polarizing view on leadership. That's if you're in my inner circle, or you're one of my leadership coaches, we go into some great detail about that. And for me, humility and being driven by service is important to me, and is something that I want to help my leaders realize. So I think I'll get off my soapbox now because it's 1:25. I've now been on for 25 minutes. So it's your turn, everyone. I just shared with you, what habits are, how they are formed, and how you can change bad habits. We also talked about the 5 habits of conscientious leaders. Again, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just my list that I put together. So it's your turn. Share your habits with me, and share with me how you use them. And if you're so bold, tell me about some of the bad ones that you are intentional in changing. So let me know about that. So before I let you go, don't forget, download my free PDF. It's the 5 leadership fundamentals that every leader should know. I like the number 5. You guys, I'm doing 5 lists, 5 of everything. So yes, I will post. Yes, I will, and I will make sure it's in this post, so that you and others can download this check. It's not a checklist. It's just my 5 leadership fundamentals. Again, not exhaustive, but it is my list, and I hope that I'm able to inspire anyone out there with that list. Also, because we're talking about deliberate, intentional leaders, we have a private Facebook group. I mentioned at the top of our live today that Anne leads our members over in Align 365. She's one of our amazing leaders over there. And this is a group of virtual friends that are deliberately creating a life they love and deserve. And so if you want more personal development, head over there. We have some lively discussions in there, and it's a group of really great supporters, and we're all just trying to live better and be better. So join me over there, and I'll make sure I post that also in this video. Okay, everyone, I appreciate your time, and as always, thank you for joining me. If you're watching the replay, we appreciate likes, loves, and comments. So make sure you engage with us so that Facebook knows we're alive. All right, everyone, thank you all so much. And have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you guys on a video next Thursday. Take care.